Good morning. Good morning. How are you people today? I gotta get my light. Okay. Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, Wadabevich. Read your paper, Wadabevi. Had some comments. Good job on it. Proud of you. My comment is basically I would suggest focusing on each one of those thoughts and writing more on it. Just expand on it. You could get probably 300 pages. So a lot of stuff to unpack there. Good morning, Rebecca. Let's see, anybody else going to jump on soon? I'm going to have a little bit of my coffee, my oleato. Matt is there. Field Marshal and Grand Admiral. The Untermensch, the Untersergeant is there. Okay, so let's see. We could be waiting for Carla for sure, and maybe Ricky will make it 3 days in a row, which would be good. All right, as we're doing that, what is today's meme? What is a meme, people? Today's meme on our worksheet. Kelly McGonigal. Who remembers Kelly McGonigal? Hint, she's at Stanford. Hint, she's part of Carol Dweck's group. Steers. Stress, right. Stress, right. Kelly McGonigal. Stress. That is right. Is stress bad? Rebecca, is stress bad? Okay, Carla joins us. Good morning, Carla. Is stress bad? So we have the Fab Five. Fab Five is here. Is stress bad? Rebecca says, if you believe it's bad, good. Okay, stress in itself is not bad. It's the body's natural response to certain stimulus. Could be external, could be internal. When it's internal and you feel stress, that could be called anxiety. No, it's not bad, but it can be healthy. Stress can be healthy. Right, it's our body's natural response to things. What does it do? What does stress do? What do you remember from Kelly McGonigal? What is it that stress does? Constricts the blood vessels, right? Which increases blood pressure, which what? Makes the blood flow faster through your system, which means that neurotransmitters or hormones, chemicals can get through your bloodstream to your organs faster. Okay, so your heart beats faster, so you're going to have more blood circulating. You constrict the blood vessels like you do on a hose, right? Build up pressure, and then it's going to go even faster. So stress is that process that enables chemicals to get to our body faster so we can respond to our environment. It could be our external or internal environment faster. Right. That's it. Now, what's the problem with stress? What is the problem with stress? What are we going to watch on today's TED Talk? What's the problem with stress? Problem with stress is it's not good to have your blood vessels constricted and have more pressure on your heart. That's not good for your heart. So what did Mother Nature do to counteract that? What does our body do to counteract stress? What hormone neurotransmitter is released so that so the negative effects of stress don't hit us. And that is called the cuddle hormone, which is what? What is the hormone that's released? Right, oxytocin. Yeah, so oxytocin. What does oxytocin do? What are two things that oxytocin does? Good morning, Ricky. So what do we call it? Not the sassy six. What was it? Okay. So what does oxytocin do to counter the negative parts of stress? Bonds us. Okay. Well, what does it do in your body? So that's the behavior we get from the feeling we get. What happens in the body? Okay, Kelly McGonigal says it does two things. One, it relaxes the blood vessels so they open up so there's less pressure, right? Widens blood vessels, good. And the second thing, it attaches to the heart to repair the heart. And that's why when we feel love or whatever, we feel it in our heart. That's cortisol on your heart. When you give somebody a hug, you pick up an animal, you pet your, Kathy McKenna showed me her new infant pet ground squirrel, which is only about this big, big eyes. So you feel it in your heart, right? Why? Because the cortisol is attaching to your heart. So that's what Kelly McGonigal says. So it widens blood vessels, so it reduces the negative impacts of having constricted blood vessels on your heart. Your heart is having to work harder to pump the blood through. So bigger blood vessels, less pressure, easier for the heart to do its job. Second thing, repair damage to the heart caused by the heavy exertion. What is the problem with well, okay, so that solves it, right? So that solves it. So stress is the body's natural reaction okay, so the body's natural reaction to stimulus, certain type of stimulus, is stress. And that's from cortisol, right? Is cortisol bad or good? Is cortisol bad or good? So we know stress isn't bad or good. How about cortisol? Is cortisol bad or is cortisol good? Neither. Right. Both. Right. Cortisol, one way to describe cortisol is like a brain cloud. Don't know what to do. We all might know or have experienced instances where you're frozen, you're scared, you're so scared, you're scared stiff, you can't move. What is that? That's cortisol. It's like a brain cloud. Don't know what to do. I'm a caveman out on the savannah looking for food. I have my pointed stick. I'm slowly creeping along and the bush in front of me, the big bush in front of me, rattles. There's something there. Bam. Massive dose of cortisol. Don't know what to do. Do I attack? Do I fight or flight? I don't know. Well, I have this massive dose of cortisol, which kind of locks me in place as other chemicals are now going through my body, like adrenaline. So in case I need to run, I have energy. Or if it happens to be a rabbit, do I want to run? Mitch says, run from the rabbit. Well, maybe if it has fangs on it, but I want to attack. So adrenaline would help me in that instant too. So think of it like a jet plane before takeoff. pilot has his foot on the brake. Well, I don't think it's his foot on the brake, his hand on the brake. The brake is all the way engaged, and he's accelerating. So the engines are revving up, but the plane won't move because the brakes are on, the wheels won't turn. And you can't really push a big plane very well without the wheels turning. So he's revving up the engine, has the brakes on. So when you decide to go, it shoots out much quicker. Same thing here. Cortisol, once you decide what to do, you now have the energy to do it. Okay? So cortisol isn't bad or good. In fact, if we didn't have cortisol, we'd either fight or flight, so we wouldn't really exist, because if there was a 50-50 chance every time fight or flight, there's a 50-50 chance that there was a lion behind there, kind of like 1 out of 4 times you get eaten by the lion. Okay, so one instance, lion, run, live. Lion, run, die. No, lion, stand your ground, die. Rabbit, run, go hungry. Rabbit, stand your ground, eat. So that's 4 possible things that can happen if it's a lion or a rabbit. You can run or not run, so we would be extinct if every time we approached a shaking bush, 1 of 4 things was going to happen. Ultimately, eventually, that 4th bad thing, stand your ground and die, would happen. That's not good. So I'd be a hungry animal. So that means Mitch would run, right? So what if you always run? What if you always run and half the time it's a lion, half the time it's a rabbit? So you're going to live, but you're going to be hungry. Not good. So that wouldn't be a good case either. We probably would not survive because we would not reproduce enough to overcome when a bad thing happened. If something really bad happened, we wouldn't have the numbers to survive. And I think I remember reading somewhere that there was a point in time where it looks like the human species got down to be like less than 1,000 people on Earth. We're Homo sapiens sapiens, that we almost lost it. Okay, so what else we got on our hit parade, our worksheet today? Advice from an 80-year-old. Advice from an 80-year-old. Live your life so that your epitaph could read, no regrets. No regrets. We can do our something great is going to happen to me today as an incantation. What does Seth Godin have to tell us today? It's a short one, but I think it's probably good. Seth's thing, assume goodwill. There's often doubt. Giving someone the benefit of that doubt enables us to move forward. And that requires us to realize that our doubt might be unfounded. Systems that assume goodwill create possibility, connection, and utility for far easier than those that don't. Being invited to find a place in those systems is a privilege worth earning. Okay, so assume goodwill. If we assume not goodwill, right, we're going to be kind of skeptical. I don't trust you. You have to prove yourself first. Boom, things slow down. We can't really engage until I can trust you, right? Or if you assume goodwill, if you assume the best in people, yeah, they could burn you. I'm a very easy person to burn because I start from the position of goodwill. If I started from the position of you need to have money before we let you in the house, I can't trust you. If I started from that position, what would happen? So you might say, well, what would happen is we wouldn't have a program. No, what would happen is we'd be like everybody else. That's it. We would just get a different breed of cat. You have to have money to come in. We're not going to let you in unless you have money. You wouldn't be here. We would still be here. but it would be very different. So, yeah, I'm kind of an easy mark because I start from the thing of goodwill. We're here to help you. We will demonstrate in good faith that we're here to make your life better. We do. Now you got to answer for yourself. Do you reciprocate? Is that what you do in return? Do you project goodwill? I'm here for the good. I am going to do what I bargained for. I'm not going to just use you to get what I want. And then once I get what I want, or once I've worn out my welcome, then I will leave and go back to where I was. And for many people, that's what happens. And those people, I can guarantee you 100% of the time, they don't do the advice of the 80-year-old, right? They don't live so they can say no regrets. It's like, damn, I had it right there. It was right there. All I had to do was act in good faith. I just had to reciprocate. I had to respond and treat that person the way they treated me. And that should be, and is most often the attitude of these churches. Assume goodwill. What happened yesterday with the Methodist Church, right? So we got a key to the building. They assumed goodwill, that we're not going to steal the place. We're not going to use it for things that we shouldn't do. We're going to do the right thing. Assume goodwill. So, okay, we're at 1642 in. We are going to be going to, we've got to get prescriptions, so we don't need to leave till about 10 for Vegas. Frankie's the only guy that needs to go to court or whatever it is he has to do. I will find out from Tony exactly what time it is. We got to drop off the UAs. I will print out the sheets for the people. Everybody has their own sheet. Mitch, you got to pass the word. People must use black ink, no red ink like they did in 1409. We couldn't use the samples from 1409 except for one person. I don't remember if that was Isaiah or Brian. Only one person. Everyone else used red. Has to be black, and it has to be legible. And if you're out of the little label things, I need to know. And people need to put the labels, and they need to be able to read the label on the urine sample. So let's see, what else? So I will be there with the sheets. And my understanding is everybody's going to have, there's a separate sheet printed for each person to make it easier for the lab. All everybody's going to have to do is sign it and put the date on it, and it will be much easier, better, and they need to be folded up properly and put in the pouch in the back of the bag, not inside of the bag. Two people still continue to put the piece of paper inside of the bag. Anyway, enough about that. Is blue black. Okay, so glad everybody's there. Good to see our, I don't remember what it was, our sassy 6 or stressful 6. It was a 2-syllable word, something 6, started with an S, something 6. We get ended in a Y. Anyway. Glad everyone is there. Let's make something happen today. Let's do it again. And I will see everybody around 8 for Kelly McGonigal. Bye.